Vaibhav. In today's session of Visual JForex, we will be looking at the indicator named Midprice. This is an fairly simple indicator. We don't really have to do any complex calculation, and it's also easier to understand and very useful at the same time. It is included under the other section of this indicator. Yesterday we saw the use of midpoint. Now today it's the turn of the mid price. There is not much difference between the two. There is some minor variation, and I will explain to you. Now here I have included this mid price indicator on this Visual JForex board developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA. We are using the on candle as our start point for today's setup, and here is the formula. The mid price is simply the average of the highest high minus the lowest low within the look back period. So all you have to do is to take the highest high over the given period of time, and then subtract the lowest price for the same period of time, and the difference which comes, you have to divide it by the 2 and you get the mid price, that is the average. And unlike the case of midpoint, we can't do the changes in the applied price. Here I will add the indicator and demonstrate to you how this is different from the midpoint, mid price over a period of time. This is the default setup, and the mid price is being defined for the 14 candlesticks. Here this chart is of Euro USD for 1 hour each. That means the last 14 hours data is being taken into account while calculating this mid price, and as I explained to you, it is simply the average price. So here the last 14 hours high, I think most probably this should be the last 14 hours high, and this is the most recent as well as the lowest low. So we have this difference now being calculated, and this is simply the midpoint of the highest high and the lowest low. You get the idea on which side of the average price the trend is moving. If we see that the price action is happening mostly below this average price, the mid price, that means the underlying tendency is on the bearish side. But if we see that the price action is above the mid price, that means the price is hovering above, and it is rising while taking support, or you can say it is trading above the average price. That means the buying momentum is there and people are willing to put money even if the valuations are higher than the average price. And we can utilize this setup in multiple ways. We can even think about going in for the long position whenever there is a change of momentum from being on the lower side of this mid price. When the price moves on the higher side, we can initiate the buy side trade, and vice versa. Whenever we see that price is now dipping below the mid price after having been above the mid price for a good amount of time, we can think about initializing the fresh trade on the short sell side. So both that way we can utilize these mid price, and we can also use this indicator in conjunction with other indicators, where you simply see on which side of the mid price the price action is, and then to figure out the optimum entry and the exit point, you utilize some other combination of the indicator to initiate the entry and then the exit also. That way we can optimize the entry exits while being on the right side of the trade. And since there is not much of a lag between the price moves and this indicator, we are able to catch up pretty fast whenever there is any swift move, and whenever we see that new swing high or new swing lows gets formed, there is a sharp reflection in the mid price, and that helps us to see how the momentum is shaping up, whether the momentum price action is stronger on the buy side or on the sell side, and then we can try to keep on the same side of that trend, so that we are having more probability of ending up on the profit. And as you are already aware, trend is your friend, and this indicator helps in determining the trend, and we can also spot the early reversals. So both ways we can rely on this mid-price indicator, and that's why one of the useful mathematical tool is this indicator mid-price. We have to customize these four input parameters to get the desired output, and then that output price can be used to set the conditions, or simply to do the comparisons, or even for further calculation. You can use this output value in various ways, but you have to make sure that the customization which you will have to do here for these parameters is optimum, and it has been thoughtfully designed in such a way that we stand in good state to make money. Now coming to the default instrument, you can utilize the Euro USD, or you can change this to any other indicator of your choice. So it depends on your combination on which trading instrument you want to design the algorithmic setup. So whichever instrument you want to design the setup for, you can choose it, provided it is included here. So we have this long list of the instruments which can be utilized to design the algorithmic setup. In today's setup, we will use the AUD as our instrument of choice for this session, and then comes the question of the time period, the period of the candle for which we are going to calculate the mid price. Now, if you want to trade for scalping kind of opportunities, I think the lower time frames like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or for that matter even hourly will do the job. But if you want to identify the big trends, and then move should be the large enough, then I think for those kind of setups, the time frame like 4 hourly will be better suited. So for example, just to demonstrate, I am now in today's session using this 4 hourly setup. So the each candle on the chart for the AUD is going to be of 4 hours. Shift is the look back period, whether you want to take into account the current value, or you simply have to go back in time and retrieve the prior data to do the comparison, or whichever way you want it to use it. All you have to do is take the appropriate shift value. 0 means the current value for the current candle will be retrieved. If you change it to 1, then the last close candle's mid price will be retrieved. So that's how it works. Depending on this shift, that is the look back period, we will be getting the output value. Time period, now when we took this 14 as our default value, that means that last 14 hours last 14 candles time will be taken into consideration, and whatever the highest high and the lowest low formed over that period of time will will be utilized to calculate this mid price. Now you can shorten it or you can lengthen it. You have the choice, and if suppose for example if you want to make it to for example 20, you are free to do so. All you have to do is change this parameter, and now the output value which we will be getting will be for the AUD and the candlestick time period will be of 4 hours, and time horizon will be of 20 candles of 40 hours each. That means we will be retrieving the mid price using the last 80 hours data, and then as I said, applied price doesn't really make any difference in case of the mid price, but there will be slight difference depending on which side you are calculating this mid price indicator, ask side or the bid side. So that variation will be there. So let us go back to the chart and see how this combination will look like on the chart. First thing we have to do is change the instrument to AUD/JPY. Now this is the AUD/JPY chart, which we need to again change to 4 hours. The output value, the mid price, which we are looking at, is the midpoint. The mid price calculated using the 20. No, I think I haven't really changed this. So again, let me edit it, and time horizon I will change it to 20. Okay. Now this mid price you are looking at is being calculated by taking into consideration last 80 hours data, as we are looking at 20 candles of 4 hour range. That means the 80 hours data is being taken into consideration, and the highest high and the lowest low formed over this given period of time is being used to calculate this mid price. So that's how this indicator works, and as I said, it is fairly easy to understand and also fairly easy to apply it to design and develop the algorithmic setup. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can leave the feedback in the comment section, and I would be more than happy to get back to you. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. Goodbye.